Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to this city retreat this weekend on talking about death practices, particularly related to a beautiful, beautiful text called Heart Spoon, that we have technically a new name for it now. Rinpoche's kind of called it the heart's utmost need. The heart's utmost need, and I'm going to discuss a little bit about that name in related to Heart Spoon and what we mean by Heart Spoon and things like that. So thank you so much. And so once again, let's think about Dharma etiquette in general and just thinking about as if we are in a meditation room together, whether we're online or not, and trying to have good conduct of that, of trying to have your camera on. Thank you so much for everybody that's doing that. And we're not eating and drinking extensively or looking at our phones or things like that. So thank you so much. And we're going to start with some of our beginning prayers. I'll share my screen. Am I co-host?
Now you are. Sorry about
Thank
that.
you. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you to Sylvia and Lizette and all the people supporting the center in this program. Thank you so much. Not that one.
I can also share if you would like me to.
It's funny, I just had it, here we go. I just had it up, ready to go, and sometimes it escapes. It runs off. Okay,
That's what prayers do sometimes.
They do run off. It's funny that it's there, but it's not showing up in the form that I have it. Okay, let's just see if I can do this again. How interesting. Here we go. Might have to close the other ones.
I have it ready right here. I could show it right now.
Okay, great. Yeah, let's just do it. It worked great the other day, so it's just. Great. Can you make it full screen or any bigger or?
That's a good one.
Yeah, go to that left top. Oh, you can, okay, the left top will, yeah, that one. That should open it up to, or give you an option of entire screen or something, but maybe not. Anyway, I think we can see, yep.
Is good enough? Or it needs to be
I think bigger, yeah, we can. Wait,
Sorry,
you know what,
no,
hang on one second. I just want to go back to mine because I need to understand why this isn't, why it's not sharing. Let me just see if I can grab it.
Yeah, that's something else now.
See, it's there, but it's not. Okay, here we go. Can you see it? People don't see it? Okay. How funny. It's so weird why it does this. There's no consistency to.
Yeah,
Okay, let me
this
try
is
one
weird
more
because
time.
I just saw it.
I'm just
Sorry,
going
it
to try
seems
to.
like our technological karma is not fully up to speed.
No, it's funny because I just got it in the way that I wanted it, and it won't let me share it that way. So here we go. All right, we'll do it like this. Now everybody can see it? Yay! Thank you. So let's imagine as if there is a Buddha in the space in front, Shakyamuni Buddha. This is even nice Lama Tsongkhapa in a sense, but you can imagine he's one with the Buddha. And imagine them in the space in front of us as if they're inseparable with our teacher or His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And we're going to ask for blessings for this weekend for our minds as we recite these praises. Excuse me. Feel free to join in if you'd like. Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Shugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be subdued, teacher of gods and humans, to you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Shugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be subdued, teacher of gods and humans, to you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Shugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be subdued, teacher of gods and humans, to you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then, I prostrate. With pure bodies, formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Savior, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the teacher having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Do not commit any unwholesome actions. Engage in perfect wholesome actions. Subdue one's own mind. This is the teaching of the Buddha. And then let's slowly go through this verse related to emptiness and impermanence, a star, a defective view, a butter lamp flame, an illusion, a dewdrop, a water bubble, a dream, lightning, a cloud. See all causative phenomena like this. By these merits may transmigratory beings attain the state of all-seeing, subdue the enemy of faults, and be freed from the ocean of samsara, disturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Let's send these 4 immeasurable prayers out to the universe. So again, immeasurable love, compassion, joy, and equanimity in that order. And we'd like to send it out to countless living beings. So all the beings who are immeasurable as well, not excluding anyone. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from the happiness that knows no suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of attachment and hatred for those held close and distant. The 7-limb prayer. I prostrate reverently with my body, speech, and mind. I present clouds of every type of offering, both actually arranged and mentally emanated. I confess all my negative actions and downfalls collected from beginningless time. I rejoice in the virtues of ordinary beings and Aryas. Please remain until the end of cyclic existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for transmigratory beings. I dedicate my own and others' virtues to great enlightenment. The short mandala offering to create the cause. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun, and the moon, I imagine as a Buddha land and offer it. May all transmigratory beings enjoy this pure land. Idam Guru Radha Mandalakam Niratayami. I thought of, for a moment, creating the cause. What are we creating the cause for? Something we very much need to think about in life to prepare for death. And I just was giving a fundraising presentation just a couple hours ago, and to the centers in the United States. And at the very end, they had questions, and I talked to them about creating the cause for prosperity at your center. And you can offer water bowls, that creates the cause in your own practice and at the center, and also being generous. So for the director, sometimes, we just got a message about His Holiness's long life puja's coming up for his 90th birthday. And you can offer towards that, or you could offer towards the offering of all these Buddha statues they're going to offer His Holiness. So again, we always tried at the centers I was running, me as a director, even when I didn't have very much money, or I still don't have so much money, but just to offer a little bit. And the center together would offer too, and it just always came back to us like 100-fold. It was amazing. It just always worked. And so when I was mentioning them about this and about water bowls and then at the very end, this woman, very darling, and she said, well, but how do you meet the rich people? How do you bring the rich people to the center? And I left and I said, you have to think about what you're creating the cause for. So I was just thinking of what the mandala offering helps us create the cause to get teachings and things. So let's do the refuge and bodhicitta before the teachings. I take refuge until I'm enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my merits of listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha to benefit transmigratory beings. O Sangye Chodan Toki Chonamla Janchu Bardu Deni Kyab Suchi Dagi Chiningi Peso Namgi Drola Pincher Sangye Drupar Sangye Chodan Toki Chonamla Janchu Bardu Deni Kyab Suchi Dagi Chiningi Peso Namgi Drola Pincher Sangye Drupar partial. Thank you. Harry, you're back. I'm so happy to see you.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Wonderful. It's wonderful to see all of you, actually. It's wonderful to meet some of you. Thank you for joining. I just want to start with a little video from Lama Yeshe. So I'm going to share my screen, and it's such a typical Lama video. It's just very short.
Amy, there is no sound.
Yeah, it's coming.
Three organs are
hear it now?
not functioning well. So the four element observation.
And you can hear it now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Beginning already.
Oh, wait, hang on a second. Oh. Sorry. Let me start at the beginning here.
Oh, when you are old, or then your sensory organs are not functioning well. So the four element observation beginning already. You understand? So that you can't see, or double vision, or you understand? And sense organ put to its confusion. Okay. Now, you heard earth element sink. Earth element sink is just, word. It means earth element body deteriorated. That's why old man, old lady, we, deteriorated our sense of organ. So no longer can see clearly, no longer functioning. That means earth element beginning already deterioration. Of course, it's not necessarily old. Young people too.
So we get a little taste. We get a little taste because this is going to happen to you. And that's so I will mention, I am going to talk about some of the general death processes, and some of them have been sent to you. What Lama's talking about is the dissolutions that happen in the body in general. And let's just for a moment from our prayers, just if you'd like to close your eyes for a moment. But this wasn't really a beginner's course, so I just wanted to specify. I'd like to go a little deeper because some of you have done the death course. I think I did another year, another visit here. Just close your eyes for a moment. So we've done some preliminary prayers to set our mind in the right context. Think about your own personal motivation right now of showing up this evening or for this weekend. And hearing about things like the death dissolution, what happens in the body, and just exploring our standard aging and deterioration, which is natural. Death is coming. Oh, can you hear me? Okay. Death is coming, and it's coming quite quickly anymore, and there's nothing you can do about it. Are you ready? I'd like you to think in your mind right now, how ready are you for that experience? What would you like to do to get ready? What would be helpful for you to get ready? And how much of that are you doing right now? So if you're not feeling that you're doing enough of that right now, why not? What's in front of that? What's in front of those activities? And just one tiny little commitment I'll ask you for tonight or this weekend. Can you find a space in your life after this weekend or during this weekend, continuing on to adjust something in your life that gives you more time to get ready, but to sincerely get ready for the death experience? Make that commitment to yourself. And think about the reason we might like to try to do that is to try to reach that fully awakened space, that state of Buddhahood. Because then we're free of all our suffering, mental, physical, everything. Wouldn't you really like to get free? We have some level of comfort right now, but wouldn't you really like, capital F, the big freedom? But think about it. It's not just for you. If you have that level of realization as an enlightened being, think of what you could do, what you could be on the planet right now. How many beings you can benefit from that space of mind with accurate knowing. So let's think that due to that idea, if you like it, let's just think that is why we're going to get together tonight and this weekend. So we can be that as quickly as we can. That's really the purpose we want to explore this side of death and Heart Spoon. So please relax and you can open your eyes. And so I'm not sure let me just check the earphones for a second. Because I think I've been on them too much today. Okay. Oh no, they're good. Okay. What Lama was just talking about very briefly, I just like to show an old video. It's just beautiful of him and that laughter at the end, just stunning. But he's just started to go through a course talking about the disillusions that naturally happen in your body as you're aging and as you're actively dying. And the body is composed of elements. The earth element is our body. Okay? We have a water element in our body, as we know. There's fluids in the body. We have a fire element in our body that is the heat of our body and helps with digestion. And then, of course, we have an air element of our body, our respiration, connected to our respiration. So it kind of makes sense, but we never really think about our bodies that way. There's also consciousness, our mind, separate from our body. So he was just starting to talk a little bit about that, and I just wanted to introduce. I want to read something from Lama Zopa Rinpoche about this text, Heart Spoon. This is from Rinpoche. What is a heart spoon? I was at this teaching, I remember this. What is a heart spoon? When you're eating, Rinpoche says, you use a small spoon to extract the very best portion of the food in front of you. Similarly, this teaching on impermanence and death by Papanka Denchi Ningpo helps you extract the most precious essence from this human life. The ability to secure the happiness of all future lives, liberation from cyclic existence, and enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. So that's what we want to extract. That's why we want to take this essence right now. This pith part of, and then Rinpoche goes on to say the evil thoughts of the worldly concerns, supported by the concept of permanence, is constantly attacking us, interfering with our practice of Dharma and preventing the actions of our daily life from becoming pure Dharma. The advice of the great Gelug Lama Papanka Denchi Ningpo, contained in this teaching, is extremely powerful in destroying the concept of permanence and the evil thought of the worldly concerns. So reading this teaching, similar to seeing a corpse, it brings your mind back to earth from its usual state of distraction. Thoughts scattered like leaves in a gale. A gale is a strong wind. Instead of being distracted by hallucinations and wrong conceptions, you're caused to think deeply about your forthcoming death and what will happen to your consciousness at that time, what kind of life your next one will be. So such thoughts lead to the realization that you must practice Dharma continuously from now on. It's the only way to ensure a happy death. So that was just some words from Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Okay. So a few years ago, before Rinpoche passed, here we go. Before Rinpoche passed, the Rinpoche changed the title. He updated a lot of our prayers often. And it, some people didn't like that and they felt like they memorized one version and then it got updated. And centers like Maitreya Institute bought prayer books at one point, but then the prayer books were updated. So the versions are not always, the latest version. But I think Rinpoche, part of the teaching is right there, is to teach us about impermanence. And here, right in the title, the heart's utmost need, that's heart spoon, the utmost need. You're extracting the pith, the key part. And then he says, urging myself and others to remember impermanence. So one thing to think about is, how often do you think about impermanence? Impermanence and change. How often do you think about it? Most of us not, and just to stop the share for a moment. So Yenny was commenting at the beginning of the teaching, okay? A change, this is a mundane change, a change in, very kindly, she cooks food for me for the weekend, so kind. And she got a message about, what to cook after she had cooked stuff, So there's a change. This is a mundane change, but it's a change, no less. These things happen all the time. How are you doing with those changes? So we've talked about this before in other death courses. How, when you just first want to look at impermanence, subtle and gross, it's the beginning of how we start to engage with our deaths and our lives. But one thing to start looking at this weekend, please, as an exercise is, how do you do with change? You pretty good with it? How many people here, how would you feel? Put your hand up. Pretty good with change? Okay, well, I'm getting a little bit of this, not sure. Now here's something people say to me. You ready for this? It depends. Okay, we've got the it depends. Does it? Does it? So what you want to do is practice with the little changes first. Like Yenny said she was doing that. She kind of would be spacious and go, okay, no problem. And then part of it would be like, there'd be like a tightness. Like, I don't want it to change. I already did this. I already made the food, But then the mind goes off into, hey, okay, not really too much to worry about. But then it goes back into like, I don't want to change. I didn't want that information. Okay, so just look at, great to practice with the small changes first. Great to practice with that. Thank you. Really helpful, but it's hard. So that's what we want to do, is start to practice with these little changes. I've mentioned before, your friend cancels a lunch date at the last minute. How do you feel about that? Some people are totally fluid, no problem. But what if they do it a second and third time? You make the plans, you've designated the time. So this is where people say it depends. The third time they're not happy. The first time we let it go, okay? But so you just know that everything's changing. We've had courses on karma. emptiness, things like this. So you're realizing this is coming from my mind, my friend changing plans, or just coming from my mind. So there's nothing really out there to get upset about. But we do. But we do. So that's what we want to work on. That's what we have to keep working on. So start again with the small changes. And then when the bigger ones come, loss of a loved one. That's huge. That's huge. But you'll be a little bit more prepared. And I've seen long-term couples where one is getting really ill and is older, and you can see that, this just happened to a couple friends of mine who happen to be Dharma practitioners, fortunately. So they see the writing on the wall. It doesn't mean they're not sad when the partner dies. They both were very, very sad. I mean, of course, there's grief, and of course, it's not like you push away your sadness. Oh, they died and I shouldn't be worried. Of course you experience your grief, but within reason. One of them is she knows there's sad moments of the day, total shift in her entire reality. And then she has moments she knew this was coming. She looked at it as it was coming for 2 years, taking care of her partner, quite ill. And, you see, so she knew, and, so can we make it where I'm not so thoroughly distracted by worldly reality that I forget this and that I'm actually working on it now? We try our best. Heart spoon. Heart's utmost need. And again, urging myself and others. And this is what he's doing. This is a kind of pithy text. It's hard to read at first when you read it. It really gets your heart, okay? Because I'm urging myself and others to remember impermanence. We have to do this. This is that little spoon that's going in there in your heart. Am I practicing, or am I completely, what Lama said, caught up in the 8 worldly dharmas? And Rinpoche mentioned the 8 worldly dharmas. So what are the 8 worldly dharmas? Can somebody describe to me the 8 worldly dharmas, how they're set up, and anybody remember?
Praising myself and belittling others.
So that's the
the
first bodhisattva vow. That's nice, but that's not the 8 worldly dharmas, but that's a good guess.
Sorry.
Praising, that's the bodhisattva vows. Okay, so we've got, remember this, 8 worldly dharmas. We've got 4 pairs of situations that thoroughly distract us and take over our mind, and we chase these. Nikita, go for it.
Yes, I will name one. Gain, and the opposite is loss of
Thank you.
material
Okay, now everybody
wealth.
remember? Yeah, thank you so much. You're on it. Okay, what do they usually start with? Gain and loss, usually we come in second. There are 4 pairs. What's the first one that we go through? Yeah, Nikita, go.
Yeah,
Great.
sensory pleasure, and a sensory, the opposite is displeasure, I guess.
Displeasure, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So you could even call it pain and pleasure. But just like he said, sensory pleasure, sensory displeasure, lack of pleasure, pain. So we're running for pleasure, we're avoiding pain any chance we get, and look at in your own life how you do that. We do it in gross ways, we do it in subtle ways. Oh, let me get on the couch. I've got my favorite TV show on, the video we're gonna watch. We got the snacks, and I feel good now. This is pleasurable. People go to spas. I like massage. I like to get massage, but can you do it and understand what it is? And can you have a little motivation before you get your massage? For all living beings that will never experience this. Or can I use it if my body's a little achy, being on the road, this will be really helpful because I want to live my life to devote myself to the Dharma as much as I can to get enlightened quickly and benefit all living beings. For that purpose, I'm going to get a massage now. So different way than just chasing after, I had the massage. I know I have some friends. They got their pedicure, they went to the spa day, now they're going to go shopping. It's every day is like that, filled with stuff like that. They work sometimes, but it's all very worldly, okay? And then we're doing anything to avoid discomfort, pain, all the time. And some people are in chronic pain, which is really, really hard. really hard. So some of them, you know, it really affects their personality, right? The pain. And some people, as I would say, they just rise above it. Like they're in pain all the time and they've made a conscious decision to just be bright about it. They're not going to complain. You know, this is the situation, you know, they own it. They know it came from their mind. This is the karma. They're purifying something, and let's just get on with getting my mind ready for death. So you can look a little bit at where you fall. We've got pain and pleasure, gain and loss, as Nikita said. Another pair. What's number 3? Lizette.
Praise.
Exactly the one I wanted to say. Praise and blame.
Praise and blame. Praise and blame. Yep. And then the 4th is having a good reputation or having a bad reputation. We sometimes call it fame and dishonor. Very heavy, that one. So these are 4 situations Dharma, the Rinpoche talks about that we're just chasing most of the time. Look at your own life. You know, just be honest. So we try to work constantly looking, watching as they arise. Pabanka Denshi Nimpo. The heart's utmost need, urging myself and others to remember impermanence. Now, it starts out right away, oh dear. Like, oh no, like, my goodness. So this is going to be, imagine you are dying. This is heart spoon. This is the real essence of what we need to practice. We're just going to go right in there of, think about you're actively dying now. You know, or you come out and God forbid, I don't want you to get any horrible diagnosis, but you come out of the doctor's office and you just got some really, really bad health news, you know, and this is in our mind, oh dear, oh no, right? I don't want this. I don't want this. You know, there's an older version of this that says, it starts off with, the hurt. Okay, the hurt, like this is, you know, so please look at, and here we, with the text, please look at how I, a pitiful one, behave, and look with compassion at mindless me, who has cheated myself my whole life. And he goes on to say, I must keep this heart advice for myself, the heart's utmost need, or it used to say heart spoon, in the core of my heart. This is the most essential, is what they're saying. The heart's utmost need. This is what we need. And so that's why when Rinpoche explained heart spoon, that the spoon, you really, little spoon, you go in to get that, extract that little most important part that you can't get to with other ways. Okay, so in the core of my heart, and here it says, don't be distracted. He repeats it, don't be distracted. This is important. I'll reflect upon the state of my life from the depths of my heart. So just right there, can think about, what are you distracted by? And what are the habits from those distractions? So he mentions it twice. Don't be distracted. We're trying to get our attention. Don't be distracted. Wake up. Stop it. Enough, right? You know, and let's reflect upon the state of my life from the depths of my heart. How's your life going? Like when I just said in the beginning, are you ready? You ready for death? Because it's coming. It's the one thing you can count on, is death and impermanence. They're happening all the time. And then he says here, from beginningless samsara, which hasn't ended up to now, though I've experienced numberless cycles of rebirth, just variations of happiness and suffering, I haven't achieved even the slightest benefit for myself. So beginningless samsara is, as we know, most of us are used to this. Samsara, again, is a Sanskrit term that means to cycle, to turn. And we're turning through cyclic existence. Okay? And all of that is considered suffering, okay, which says here, which hasn't ended up to now. And even though I've had many, many lives, right? And all those lives, is what he's saying, is they're just versions of different happiness and suffering, but it's not freedom. It's not freedom. I just have some happiness sometimes, and then I have suffering other times. And that's been my life, cycle after cycle, after rebirth, after rebirth, after rebirth. Okay? And here I haven't even achieved anything yet because I'm still cycling through samsara. So you want to look at it. Is this your life? Is this what's going on? Now, some of us have come in contact with the Dharma. Great. We have a wonderful Dharma center in Amsterdam. Fantastic. right? So we're getting some seeds planted now. Some of us met the Dharma some years ago. So there's a few more seeds. What are you doing with the seeds? Are you watering them and applying fertilizer? And are they in the sunlight sometimes and getting the right air circulation? And are they sprouting and growing? Could they be doing more of that? And are you doing anything that prevents that? And then here he goes on to, though at present I've obtained the freedoms and richnesses so difficult to find, but until now they've been meaningless, empty, and wasted. Now, if I really love myself, it's time to practice virtuous activities, the essence of my happiness, beyond this life, up to enlightenment. Okay, freedoms and richnesses. What are we talking about with freedoms and richnesses? Anybody?
The precious human rebirth.
Thank you. Precious human rebirth. Precious human rebirth, freedoms and richnesses. So there's 8 freedoms and 10 richnesses that make up a precious human rebirth or perfect human rebirth, like that. And this comes in the very beginning of the Lam Rim. Okay, so if some of you didn't know that that's precious human rebirth, then you need to work on that and study that and understand. You know, we've got, for instance, four situations we are free from. Let's give you some taste of them. 4 situations we are free from in the human realm. What are those 4 situations? Other realms, other rebirths, like what? Anybody? You can either put your hand up or you can just unmute.
Yeah, like animal realm.
Yeah, we're free from the animal realm. What other realms?
Um, Hungry Ghost and Hell, which are
Hungry ghost realm. Yep.
hard
And
to
what was the
see.
last one? The hell realm? Yep.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So we've got 3 lower realms of existence. We've got animals, they're at the top of the lower realm. Hungry ghosts, like grasping spirits, and the hell realms. Buddhism does have hell realms, like Catholicism. Okay? But the difference in our hell realms is they're not permanent. You're not in these realms forever. You are simply in these realms based on the karma, the activities done with your body, speech, and mind in this life and all past lives, okay, that creates a certain condition to arise. And when that condition gets exhausted by your being in a lower realm, in a suffering, more suffering realm, okay, then you move out of that realm. You've kind of finished that karma, you've purified it, like that. So we've got 3 lower realms we're free from as a human. And then we've got, the 4th one is the 2 upper God realms. So the upper realm are humans at the bottom, jealous gods, hedonistic gods. So we've got 6 realms that make up cyclic existence. 6 realms. So the God realms sound good. The hedonistic God realm sounds really good. It's all pleasure. It's all pleasure, but you're not free. You're not out of cyclic existence. So you have to remember that. So you have a lot of pleasure in that realm, so much pleasure that you have no tendency, no interest to practice Dharma, like that. And the jealous God realms are so consumed and obsessed with the hedonistic God realms that they're just fighting with them all the time, even though they live a highly pleasurable experience. So you use up a lot of merit, a lot of positive energy by being in those realms. That the human realm is optimum for getting enlightened. Optimal rebirth. So you have a balance of suffering and a balance of leisure. The leisure gives you ability to practice, time to practice. The suffering motivates you to want to practice, to get out of the suffering, to find an end to the suffering. Those are 4 of the freedoms that you have. And you have other things. We're free from having defective sense faculties. So I know people that have come to our centers and they were partially deaf to come to programs and retreats. And one woman, she had a hearing aid. She contacted us in advance that she has trouble hearing, and we put her right next to the speaker, everything functioning. She still couldn't hear the teacher teaching. Even if she was right in front of them, she couldn't hear. So sometimes karmic obscuration like that. and you have a sense faculty that prevents you. Now, you can certainly read teachings. Blind people can read the teachings and things and practice to a degree, but sometimes maybe harder for them to visualize or harder for them to see certain aspect, to picture the deity that they're supposed to be visualizing. And there's other obstacles like that. People have deficient mental faculties, so they can't really even practice Dharma. So we're free from that. We're free from being in a, I asked a Lama once about this. There's something about being in a, they say, in a central land. In a central land. It's also an endowment. Some of them are related. Central land means a place you can practice Dharma. But sometimes they'll say you're free from being in a barbaric society. And what it partly means is that a place you cannot practice Dharma, it's not legal like Saudi Arabia. It's illegal to practice Dharma there generally, or to get open Dharma magazines and things like that, Dharma books. So you wouldn't have the freedom to practice that. So I gotta say, but so one time I said to a Lama, barbaric society, and because of our planet and the wars and the power and greed and some of the things that obstruct everybody having a home and everybody having enough food and safety and things like that, and because of racial discrimination and things. And so I said to one of the Lamas about that freedom, and I said, I don't know if we really got that freedom, that, and he said, yeah, you're right. That one doesn't really, sometimes you don't really have that on, but we do, but in our, in our cultures, looking at all of you in your blocks now on Zoom, the fact that we have computers, electricity, internet, we have, that means we probably have homes and nice living spaces. And I think the Netherlands is a very reasonable society. And so I think on some level we have quite a nice level of that. So, and the endowment, so you can study these 8 freedoms. You would take, this is the beginning of the Lamrim if you want to effectively meditate on that. So, and the reason is so you appreciate your precious human rebirth, that you appreciate that. It's key. The more you appreciate your rebirth, it helps you wake up. It helps you realize, I want to practice. I need to practice now. Absolutely. And it also lifts you up already on a cushion that I'm good enough to practice. I can actually achieve and attain this path. I can get to Buddhahood. It may take me a lot of effort. It may not happen in this lifetime, but it will happen one day. I am fundamentally good. I have Buddha nature. I'm trying my best. That's fantastic, right? But is that how you wake up every morning, with that energy, and the energy that, based on having all these advantages, so I didn't really mention the 10 endowments relate to things like, we live at a time when a Buddha existed. We live at a time when that Buddha taught. We live at a time where those teachings are disseminated, spread, and given, free to give like that. And the teachings are supported. There's community supporting the center, people supporting the center, those kind of things. Because if you just want to imagine, if there was no Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha never existed, let's say, 2,600 years ago, I don't think there'd be a Maitreya Institute, frankly. We wouldn't be on a Zoom meeting right now about Buddhism. There wouldn't have been a Pabonka Rinpoche, there wouldn't be Heartspoon, or the Dalai Lama, or Lama Zopa Rinpoche. I don't think any of that would exist if the Buddha didn't exist. Could be some other spirituality called something else. So you think about these things. This Buddha actually taught. So they talk about other world systems. A Buddha will manifest, but due to the karma of the beings at that time, the Buddha won't teach how he got there. So you come in contact with somebody that you may feel is extraordinary. There's no karma for them to tell you how they got there. Okay? And then the other thing extraordinary about Shakyamuni Buddha right now in our world system, he existed in our world system, not when we live, but there's other Buddhas probably walking around, right? Is he taught the entire path, including Tantra. So there will be other world systems, future times of our planet or beyond our planet, and a Buddha will manifest like Maitreya, what the center is named after, Maitreya Buddha. It's the next Buddha to come that represents loving kindness. And he doesn't teach Tantra. So you're a little bit limited in getting to enlightenment more quickly because there's no Tantra taught like that. So now we have everything. We have everything right now. What are you doing with it? What are you doing with it? You really need to think, are you ready? Am I using the activities of my day? Now, I understand people have to work and people have families and they have certain responsibilities. Absolutely. You take care of that, all of that as best as you can. You need to support yourself. You need to pay your rent, buy your food. Absolutely. So these are sometimes what I'd call limitations in an ordinary life that we have, and we get encumbered by them, right? So you want to think about, like, how much time do I spend doing that stuff? Do I spend a lot, too much time focused on that, or focused on what I'm going to wear, or what my hair looks like, or what kind of food I'm buying? You know, like, how much does that matter versus, am I getting ready for death? Am I ready? Am I preparing? Is my, you know? So part of it is we need to learn the 8 freedoms and 10 richnesses. Then we need to meditate on them with this book, with a book like this. So you want to learn, this book is How to Meditate on the Stages of the Path. You want to find an active way, an accurate way to meditate analytically on the Lam Rim, you know, and do the Nundro practices, do practices that clear away obstacles to your getting enlightened, purify all the negativities in your mind, all the things that cause you suffering, and you want to accumulate the conditions that you need to progress on that path. It's a lot of what we're doing in this life. Are you doing that? How much are you doing it? Are you clear on what that means? If not, the center can help you get clear. Center can teach you. You can find ways to do it. It's really about your choices and your priorities. So just think about it. So something here when he says, though at present I've obtained the freedoms and richnesses, so difficult to find. So getting a human rebirth, how we've gotten it, they also mention in these teachings, in the Lam Rim teachings on it, so difficult to find. So a lot of people come to us and go, well, I've got a human rebirth, and so a lot of people don't believe in reincarnation. Then you want to check where you think your suffering comes from. Could there be a previous moment? It would be very nice to do one of the mind courses with Annalise on discovering Buddhism. Really helps you understand the nature of your mind is made up of moments, and each one has a preceding cause. So you can never find the first cause, because that will have a preceding cause, which indicates past lives and continuous rebirth. So if you look at that, it's extremely rare to find this condition, to come back as not only a human, but a human who meets the Dharma. That's a precious human rebirth. That's a precious human rebirth, or perfect human rebirth. The human who meets the Dharma and has conditions to practice the Dharma. So it's not just taking human rebirth somewhere, because there's people in South Sudan that are not having a good time right now. No freedom, no richnesses, struggling for food, like that. People in Gaza being obliterated, right? So again, this is the human, and so we met a teacher, we found a center, we met the Dharma, unbelievable. It is rare, and they say so difficult to find. It's as rare as, and they give you examples. So this is something that you would slowly meditate on to be like, wow, I better step up and start using this life. I have every perfect condition. So they say, for instance, if you took a straight pin, if you're familiar with a straight pin, which is the little pin that has that little top on it, flat across. People use that to kind of, pin things together. Sometimes if we're pinning something to the throne, we use a straight pin. It's not a sewing needle like that. You have a straight pin, and they say if you put a little bit of honey on the top, that little flat part, you know how small they are, right? And then you dip it in sand, and you think about all the sand all over the planet. All the sand all over the planet, okay? And you take that little straight pin and now you've dipped it, just the top, and it comes up, you got a little honey on the top and you dip it and you hold it up and those sand grains that cling to the top. But I want you to think about all the sand all over the planet. All the sand grains. It's monstrous amount of sand grains all over the planet, all the deserts, all the beaches. Well, that little bit that's stuck to the top, that's a precious human rebirth. That's how rare it is. So you got it right now. You're here. You have landed in a very good way. Let's use it. Are you using it? Are you using it? What are you doing with it? Okay, are you with me? We've got to do something with it. We have to. This is your chance. It may be a really long time before you come back and have these conditions coming around again. Let's not waste it. Until now, he goes on, they've been meaningless, empty, and wasted. Now, if I really love myself, it's time to practice virtuous activities, the essence of my happiness beyond this life up to enlightenment. So now he's not talking about if I really love myself, like I'm great, I need to, it's about if I really care, because precious human rebirth comes at the beginning of the Lam Rim, excuse me, because you need a buoyant cushion. You need a buoyant cushion to want to practice and to realize you're good enough to become a Buddha. And that's why it's at the beginning. It's great. And especially Westerners need that. Especially Westerners really need to understand that we can get there. It may take you a long time. That's okay. As long as you're a little bit each life evolving a little bit more. Absolutely. So we can get there. So it's that kind of, it's like self-respect, self-compassion. I care about myself, and because I care about myself, I have this premise, precious human rebirth, from which to operate. Doesn't get any better than this. On the common human, limited mind realm, this is the best human realm. This is the best optimum place to get enlightened from. So let's use it. Like, what are we using it for? Are you using it? So again, it's time to practice virtuous activities. The essence, and that's the essence of your happiness. Are you doing that? What kind of virtuous activities are you doing each day? It's something to really think about. And what balance of your day, how much of your day is spent with self-cherishing, the self-cherishing thought, and everything I'm consumed with, everything I need, everything I want. Okay, so he goes on. A fool who pretends to be capable, smart, and clever, while clinging to the child's play of this life's appearances, suddenly I'm overcome by the terrifying Lord of Death, and filled with despair, I'm unable to bear it. This is going to happen to me. So when you read this poem, okay, and I would ask you, if you can, in between break times, have it accessible, look, maybe we can, do we have any hard copies at the center for tomorrow or the next day? Anyway, please become familiar. Read it over tonight before you go to bed. It's not that long. Read it over tonight, or read a few verses from it. Again, and look at all the verses. This is going to happen to me. The next verse, this is going to happen to me. This is going to happen to me. It used to be, in the old version, it said, this is going to happen to you. But let's read it as if this is going to happen to me. This is coming. This is coming. This isn't some story, some fairy tale. This is coming to you. Okay? So look at, from our foolish, as he says, my foolishness, where, I've got my career, that's going well, I'm a parent, I've raised my kids well, that's great, people tell me I'm pretty smart, clever, I'm capable, I did a really great this or that. I mean, this is our all day long. And then if somebody suddenly pokes a little dart in there, they don't like something about you, there goes the 8 worldly dharmas. There's blame, there's a bad reputation. There's, oh, they don't like me. They don't, over and over, so again, while clinging to the child's play of this life's appearances, I solidify all this external reality, mostly solidified around the wrong concept of myself. Okay? The wrong concept of myself. Holding myself to be concretely, permanently existing. I have no idea how I really exist. And I act on the way I appear. Inherently existent, with an intrinsic quality, permanently existing, these are all synonyms, concretely existing. This is real happening to me. And I'm just picking on Yenny a little bit. If I say, oh, Yenny, we want you to make this for the meal, oh, my food isn't good enough? The food I made before isn't good enough? Like look how it makes us feel. Like suddenly it solidifies the sense of myself. You don't like my hair? You don't like my dress? Oh, is something wrong with me? What? I can't, does everybody think that? And suddenly it's this huge notion of ourselves. It doesn't exist like that at all. Right? So just simply coming from my mind, back at me. I've done this to other people. That's the only place it's coming from. Why bother with it? Now, it's one thing, practically, I get it. You need to get yourself dressed in the morning. You want some appearance. You wash our face. We brush our teeth. Of course. There's a practical reality we engage with. Of course. That's natural. That's okay. But to what degree? To what degree? And we know people obsess with this and that. And we see the whole, what is it, the plastic surgery, cosmetic field preys on all that for people. In total denial of the aging process. Amazing, like that. And they brainwash us every day. You need to look like this. You need to look like this. Or you're not going to be happy. If you don't have that kind of car, you're not going to be happy. If you don't eat this kind of food or have that kind of kitchen, you won't be happy. Really? It's amazing. So I've had friends that, and I'm sure you have friends that they're redecorating their kitchen. Decided they're redoing their kitchen. Okay. Their kitchen's perfectly fine. Everything works. All the appliances work, but they're not the right color. Now the color is this and our kitchen's white or something. Okay. So they do it. They feel better. And, so they got this new refrigerator. The old refrigerator worked fine. They got another refrigerator, blends in. They got the latest thing with the internal water filter, whatever, like that. So, but the newer products, I don't know how it is in the Netherlands, the newer products in the States, they're not made as well. So my friend got this thing, did it, 10 years later, the refrigerator broke. 10 years later, my mother had a refrigerator for 35 years, I think, didn't break. So again, another hassle. She goes, oh, we got to get another refrigerator. We're gonna, and the whole search for the refrigerator and the type, and now they have a new one. Oh my goodness. So remember, this is going to happen to me. Think, death is coming, and it is going to happen to me. There's no escape for you. I'm sorry. There's no escaping. So how much of those 8 worldly dharmas are you caught up in that? And again, foolishness like a child, they say. Like he goes on, think about it. Where's your practice in there? And here's what he says, a fool. It says, while clinging to the child's play of this life's appearances, that I got to have my kitchen's got to look like that, and I've got to have the clothes that look like that, and the trousers that are like that, and because this is what's in style now. The fashion industry has been all over this. They know. They change fashion every year because it sells, makes business. They make money. Nothing wrong with the style from last year. I remember when I wore I'm so happy being a nun. I don't have to deal with any of that. I love it, not having any hair. It's so much easier because I always hated that kind of stuff. I never was really that so interested, but with clothes, certain businesses I had, my work, I had to look decent. And going shopping and, oh my God, I hated it. I hated all of it. So, but people get very consumed and it's very expensive and, and I just think about how much more time I've got with incredible just to put on the same thing every day, and just wash it. I just need to worry about washing it. That's about it. Or when it rips, gets ripped or wears out, Then I don't have to think about what I'm going to get. I just get the exact same thing. You know, somebody mentioned to me about buying in the States. I'm sure they have here. They have secondhand clothes stores, vintage clothes stores or whatever, but they have, you know, secondhand clothes stores. So for me, it's very easy because one store is organized by color. So I just go to, if I want a sweater, I just go to that color. All the red are together, all the red and burgundy. So easy. I don't have to look through everything else. I just go right there. That's the color I need. I can always go into a store and just go right to, if I need a jacket, it's right there. That's the color. If they don't have that color, there's nothing in the store for me. I don't need it. So it makes life a lot simpler. And then what happens, think about again, if you're actively dying, again, you come out of the doctor's office, just take a moment right now, just sit quietly for you, close your eyes for a moment. You got this diagnosis, not a good health diagnosis. Or your life is really over. Let's say it's old age and all the doors and windows are shutting and you are dying. You are actively dying. You're weaker, taking less food and water. Everything is wearing out in your body. I just talked to a friend today who is 78, and I've known him for years. And so I made a joke and said to him, how did that happen, 78? And then he was also saying to me, everything's wearing out in his body. He's just noticing that. So just think about the system wears out. And think about other matter around you. For instance, shoes, they eventually wear out. You have other belongings like that break or finish. The refrigerator stopped working. It wore out. Something broke down about it. Our food finishes. We use up food. Just like our life's energy finishes. Our computers wear out. They break. Their systems get weaker. They don't function as well as they used to. Our phones are the same. Our cars are the same and bicycles are the same. So here you are actively in it now. What would I regret right now? In my practice, what would I wish I had done? What would I have wanted to complete or learn about? So what can you adjust? What can you adjust right now in your life? Realistically adjust that you might be able to fit that in sooner than later. How can you manage that activity, that practice of Dharma? Make a plan. Can you make a realistic plan? You start on Monday. So please relax. Slowly open your eyes. Suddenly, I'm overcome by the terrifying Lord of Death, and filled with despair, I am unable to bear it. Just feel, this is going to happen to me. This is going to happen to me. There's no escape. Everybody dies. Everybody dies. It's coming. The poem goes on, thinking, I won't die. I won't die for quite some time. Oh, let me just go back I just want to go back to one thing. So we have what's also called, most of you are familiar with, the 9-point death meditation. The 9-point death meditation. We just discussed this a little bit last night, and we've had classes on this before, and you've probably done with Annalise, the Discovering Buddhism, Death and Rebirth, great course. 9-point death meditation, how is it divided up? How do they divide those 9 points? Anybody? What do you remember? Nikita's right on it. Fantastic. Am I saying your name right?
Oh, yes, it's fine. I think Lizette also wanted to share. I don't want to go in front, but I can. So let's start with death is definite. The first three is about that it's definitely going to happen.
Right. Okay. Death is definite. So, but how do they divide up so we remember the nine points? What's the structure of it, would you say?
Oh, like yeah, it's 3 points and 3 sub-points in each point. So
Okay, and
First-
there's also three resolutions. So we've got something that's called three roots. So 3 main headings. Thank you, Nikita. Yeah, absolutely. The 3 main points. And then under those 3 main headings are 3 reasonings under each one. 3 reasonings. So 3 and 3, that 3 times 3, 9. 9 points. 3 reasonings. And those 3 reasonings drive it home the point to bring you to 3 resolutions. So each of the three reasonings folds into a resolution to help you maximize your practice. That's what it's about. Okay, so let's start with root number one. Nikita started. Death is definite. Thank you. Death is definite. There's three reasonings under this to convince you, everybody, I'm definitely going to die. So what's point number one? Reasoning number one. What do you remember?
Every moment your
Jenny.
life is becoming shorter.
Okay, that's number two. That's point number
Oh.
two. Okay, no, that's great, but that's point number two. Point number one,
You don't
What do
know
you-
when it comes.
that's the second heading.
Yeah,
the
that's the second heading. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody, here's number one. Everybody
Nothing can
dies.
stop it. Okay.
Oh, sorry, Sylvie, go ahead.
I said nothing can stop it from
You
happening.
can't, yep, you cannot, this is another version of it. You cannot stop death from coming to you. Cannot. It's coming. Okay. And so another way people sometimes think about it is everybody dies. Death's definite because everybody dies. You know, and there's no power in the universe, what Sylvie was saying, there's no power in the universe that can stop death from coming to you. So you think about it. So what you do is you take some time, we'll do this weekend, and we'll meditate a little bit. We'll think about it. We'll analyze from every point over and over. Death is definite. Everybody dies. So we'll look at that slowly to bring that intellectual understanding here. We know we're going to die, but we don't have it here at the heart. We don't have an experiential realization of it. It's superficial. It's like, yeah, I'm going to die, but let me get to the eight worldly dharmas first, right? Isn't that how we live? So if you really want to know that you're going to die, then suddenly, and you have a realization of that root and that point, that reasoning, right? It starts to wake you up a bit, shakes you up. So the death meditations, even though they can be a little scary, it's fear to shake you up, to wake you up. It's fear to motivate you to practice, not to terrify you and not to have you paralytic where you can't move. It's not that kind of fear. It's fear to go, I best get going. I don't have much time left. I better do something about this. Okay? Because again, you go back to Heart Spoon. This is going to happen to me. This is going to happen over and over. His verses all end over and over. They end with, this is going to happen to me. This is going to happen to me. Over and over you want to think. And you can think that in the meditations. Death is definite, the first root. Again, second point, what Jenny said is, time is running out. It's slipping away. We are now another Friday closer to death, by the way. Another Friday evening. You're another Dharma course closer to death. You're another sip of tea closer. You're another dinner closer. You're another May closer, another spring day closer to death. That. And you could go on and on. Every minute you're closer. Look at your phone. Another looking at your phone closer to death. Right? Goes on and on. So we'll do some meditation. The third one is there's very little time we formally practice Dharma. Very little time we formally practice Dharma. They say 75-year lifespan, maybe you get about 5 years. So 5 years of imprints in your mind, okay? All the other imprints of other things, of worldly life, worldly activities, sometimes worldly Dharma, okay? And remember, death, this is going to happen to me. This is going to happen to me. It's coming. Nothing you can do. So a bit in that verse, he's somewhat referring to that. You know, suddenly I'm overcome by the terrifying Lord of death, filled with despair. I'm unable to bear it. This is going to happen to me. Okay? And then he goes into the second part thinking, I won't die. I won't die for quite some time. While I'm distracted by the never-ending activities of this life, suddenly the terrifying Lord of Death arrives and announces, now it's time for you to die. This is going to happen to me. Okay. And though I put effort into making arrangements saying tomorrow, now suddenly I have to go. this is going to happen to me. So think about the second root of the death meditation, 9-point. So we have death is definite, okay? The second root, the second main heading, Yenny mentioned, the time of death is uncertain. Time of death is uncertain. You know, so I hear people, their language, when I'm old, do you know you're going to live to be old? So I changed my speech around it. And now I'll say, well, if I live to be old, well, I'm already old, actually. But people say, now I say, well, if I live to be old, then that might, but rather than saying when I'm old, I don't know. I don't know if I'll get another year. Nobody knows. So the second main heading, the time of death is uncertain. Okay. It has 3 reasonings as well. And the first one is we happen to live in a world system that has an unfixed lifespan. That is planet Earth, right? That's planet Earth. So as a result, people die at any age, as we know. People die at all different ages, and you don't know. Unfortunately, that a young child dies before the parent, or this young girl got cancer, but the old grandfather they thought would die first, but she died. And this person was in an accident. And we just never know. People die at all different ages from all different kinds of things. And then the second and third point, we'll go over these again. The second, because I'm going to ask you, so I hope you remember, okay? The second point is that there's so many things really contributing to our death, our dying, and very little keeping us alive. And the third point kind of goes along with that, is that the body's very delicate, very fragile. So it's very susceptible sometimes to infection or getting crushed in a car, or it's much weaker than the materials of the car and the velocity, the amount of speed you're moving at. Many things, natural disasters, and on and on. So think about in the verses, let me just go back to that for a second. Okay, I won't die, suddenly, and then we say tomorrow and tomorrow. So let's look at this, like how much of your mind, think about, consumed, you don't think it's going to happen today. We wake up in the morning, we even though, like, I do wake up with a motivation of this is my last day, this is it. But I forget that during the day, and I start, now we have to make some plans, I get it. That's normal. They planned this program for me. They had to plan it in advance to promote it and get, the support for it, whatever they needed. So there's certain practical reality we engage in that you have to in life. That's just the way it is. And that's the way it is on planet Earth. But you can set up your mind, and you can put imprints in your mind through your practice, through a lot of hard work, that might get you a rebirth in something called a pure land or a pure realm. Pure realm they have in Buddhism. It's not a God realm, okay? It's a realm right before you're going to get enlightened. So you're basically been practicing a lot of Dharma. Your mind is getting more and more refined, higher realizations, growing bodhicitta in your heart and your mind, and you end up managing to get yourself into a pure realm. And what happens in the pure realm, from what I've heard, is you have every perfect condition to practice. So one of my lamas described it to me and said, you want a cup of tea? Then a perfect cup of tea just manifests. You don't have to go out and buy tea. You don't have to make the tea and boil the water. Perfect cup of tea. You want an apple, he said? Perfect apple. Manifests. But most of those beings aren't even concerned with food and drink, because they're almost like light nature. So the food and drink is less, it keeps them kind of grosser. So there's less emphasis on that. Less emphasis on that, than like buying, what kind of apples am I going to buy? Or, you don't have that thought in your mind. I'm a bit of, I will confess, I'm an apple snob. I'm a total apple snob. And you have very, very good apples here in the Netherlands, by the way, in the autumn, during the season, okay? I'm a snob. So in October, in the area that I live in the States, the area that I'm based in part of the year, has an apple that grows there, grows in what's called the Mid-Atlantic states of the United States. And it only grows in that area, and you only have to eat it during the season. It's not an apple that can be preserved or kept. Sometimes they try freezing them, but there's nothing like eating them in the season. And it lasts about a month and then they're gone. So, you know, in the stores at that time of the year, a number of people in that area like these apples, and people go to the store and you're looking for your apple. You know, how much time do I need to spend looking for apples? As opposed to, you know, does it really, when you think about your life, right, does it really matter? Does it really matter? But we do that. We do that a lot. You know, we're looking for the perfect this and the perfect that. So how much engagement do you spend because I have tomorrow? Because I have tomorrow, right? And think about that, just how that thought process works in your mind. I've got tomorrow. Well, let's do that tomorrow. You know, I said to Sylvie something about, oh, well, let's do that when I come back in September, October. You know, so I have to rephrase it. You know, hopefully I come back September, October, but we don't really know. We don't know. Death could come first. So I hope not, but I don't know. Could come, because this is going to happen to me. I just don't know when that's going to happen. So think about the plans we make. Now, again, like for the program, they needed to make plans. We make plans to travel. We get plane tickets and train tickets. And you buy your thing that you need for the, you know, your pass for the metro. You put more money on it for next month. You add money for that. You know, you pay your car insurance. Or, you know, often we have automatic deductions, but you know that, like, great, I've got that covered for the year. I've got this covered for the next month. Or, you know, somebody just said to me, oh yeah, I paid the car registration or something. They did that. Or, and you plan these things. So what about your death? Are you planning for that? How's that going? So here's a little exercise I'd like you to do. I know we don't have a lot of time. You're not gonna have a lot of time tonight till tomorrow. We're gonna finish soon. Is what kind of plans do you have of your paperwork for death? How's that going? Do you have a will? Do you have your health directives? Do you have what we call in the States a power of attorney, meaning the people that can make decisions for you medically, financially, if you're incapacitated? Are those all legalized and ready to go? Is that ready? Something to think about. Because when you're actively dying or you're incapacitated, you may be unable to designate, you know, if that matters to you. So that's one level of plans. Think about that. But another thing you could look at, oh, sorry, I'm not sure how something happened there. Okay. So another thing that we want to think about that you can plan is, what about planning your memorial service or your funeral? Some people don't care and they go, I don't care whatever they do with my body, it doesn't matter. But have you told your loved ones what you want done with your body? These are part of your plans. Because again, just think, this is going to happen to me. This is going to happen to me. I want that to be your sleeping thought tonight. This is going to happen to me. Okay? Play with it a little bit like that. Just really let it deepen for the weekend. This is going to happen to me. But so think about, do your loved ones know what you want done with the body? Is that clear? Is it written down on paper? Because if it's not, they may not follow your wishes if it's just a verbal thing. You can make it legal, like that. And then I can ask, here's one last exercise, and you can do any of these. You don't just have to do it this weekend. You just carry this out. We have something in the States. We call it, you have it it's something we label in the States a bucket list. A bucket list. Do you know what I'm talking about? So you may have your words in the Netherlands, what you call that, or in your other countries, okay? But a bucket list usually is all the things you want to do before you die. You know, I want to go to Switzerland, and I want to climb the Alps and go to Mount Everest, or whatever your things are, okay? But here's your second bucket list. Okay, so you can have that bucket list. Okay. Your second bucket list is, and it can be a little combination of what qualities would you like to develop in yourself, and what sort of Dharma activities would you like to engage in and complete? Make a list of that. You can always change it over time, but see how's that going for you. Because that's the stuff we really want to get started on, because again, please think, this is going to happen to me. Everybody okay? Everybody clear on those activities? You can do as much of them. It's your own private thing, but you may, Sunday, you may want to share something that surprised you from these activities, or some things that you're really committed to. So feel free. So I just want to see if there's any questions right now, please. John.
Will you go over the third point tomorrow then, when we start?
Yeah, the third route, yes. Yeah, we'll get to the third route but right now I want you to think about the first two routes. Death is definite, number one. Number two, the time of death is unplanned, uncertain. Death is certain, the time is uncertain. And then review again, everybody dies. There's no power in the universe stopping death from coming. Number two, every moment we're closer to death. Every moment it's slipping away, it's ticking away, over, it's passing. Number three, how much time are you really formally practicing Dharma? We don't get a lot of time because of all the other activities. I mean, sleeping is just a third of our life, right? Look at that. Third is gone just sleeping. Okay, so that's the first heading. So familiarize yourself a little bit, review, think about those. Second route, the time of death is uncertain. We live in a world system. The lifespan is unfixed. People die at all different ages. Okay. Number two, there is, wait, I'm just going to stop that video. Okay. Number two is there's many more things really contributing to our death, of natural disasters, food poisoning, medicines that can kill you, bacterias, viruses, car accidents. It goes on and on. Murder, wars, contamination, environmental pollution, on and on. And number three is the body's very delicate and fragile. So it gets very affected by these things. So you can review a little bit just slowly, and we're going to do some more meditation, and then we'll go to the third route. Yeah. Any other questions, comments? Okay, everybody doing okay? I haven't totally terrified anyone? Okay, but think about it. And, take a little time, read the poem. Read the poem, soak your mind a little bit in it. Do a few stanzas before you go to bed and think, once again, this is going to happen to me. It's coming. Okay, I'm going to stop there. And we're going to go back to our concluding prayers. Are we okay? Everybody can see? Oh, wait, that's my little heart spoon. That's funny. Okay. Let me find the prayers here if I can. Let's see if this will work. Okay, everybody can see that?
Yeah.
Great. So I'd like to take whatever positive energy we have created from this session, and in looking at death and looking at the heart's utmost need, and let's invest whatever and dedicate whatever positive energies come from this. Even if the death experience does frighten us a bit, it's a good sign, actually, but may it motivate us to really drive that, to fuel our practices and really find something realistic that we can do to get ourselves more into our practice so that we're really getting our minds prepared for death. And may it help us as well have a rich, consistent practice that will help us get enlightened quickly so we can work perfectly for all living beings and help to get them out of their suffering as well to ultimate happiness. May whatever virtue I've collected benefit the teachings in all transmigratory beings, and may it especially cause the essence of perfect pure Losang Drakpa's teachings to shine forever. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon, I imagine as a Buddha land and offer it. May all transmigratory beings enjoy this pure land. Idam Guru Radha Mandalakam Niratayami. Ugewadi Nududan Lama Sange Drugyorne Drowa Chikyang Malupa Dei Sala Uparsho Jangjo Senjo Rinpoche Mage Banam Ge Gyurjig Ge Banyam Ba Me Ba Yi Gone Gondu Belwarsho. May the precious Supreme Bodhicitta not yet born arise. May that arisen not decline, but increase more and more. And we will dedicate with emptiness. Due to all the past, present, and future merits collected by me, the numberless Buddhas, the numberless sentient beings, which are completely empty of existing from their own side, may I, who am completely empty of existing from my own side, achieve the state of full enlightenment, which is completely empty of existing from its own side, and lead all sentient beings who are completely empty of existing from their own side to that state, which is completely empty of existing from its own side, by myself alone, whom completely empty of existing from my own side. The long life prayer for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. We'll do this first one. Incomparably kind and supreme Tenzin Gyatso, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, may you have a long life and all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And the swift return prayers for Lama Zopa Rinpoche. We'll do this first one, written by His Holiness. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Travakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losang father and sons along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings, through explanation and practice you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable Venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings you suddenly departed to peace, what a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples. Thank you so much. And I look forward, hopefully, to see some people in person. Tomorrow we start at 10 o'clock. Thank you very much. Have a good night, and remember, this is going to happen to me.